All right, I'm gonna do a full out makeup tutorial today. I have not done one in forever. It has been a minute. We're gonna just do everything start to finish, starting with the old brows. Our brow wax is like a brow soap. It has to be water activated. Running so low on this, and I have looked everywhere this morning for another one. I know I've got one somewhere, but where is the question? All right, so while that dries, I basically just kind of comb them into an upward shape. I'm gonna go in and I'm going to use Demi on my eyelids, just because I like that as a base for my eyeshadow. So I'm looking, this is why Demi is not like a one size, you can't just get a one Demi color. You can start out with one, but you need to build your collection. I have a little bit of like a brownish muddy color here, which is kind of like something that's green, along with some violet, which looks red on the skin. So I'm going to go into red orange. I think this is R01, just to kind of correct a little bit of this and neutralize that unwanted pigment. And then I think I've got some I'd be lying, hold on, let me look. OR3, that I'm gonna add a little bit more of that. And that gets rid of that muddy look, so you can see the difference in this side versus this side. Over here, this may be OR1. It's OR1. It would help if I turned it the right way. OR1, which on camera looks almost white, and then OR3, which is more of a pink color, but it's an orange-red base. That's going to correct that muddiness, which is a green. Has just enough red in it, a little bit of orange to get rid of that depth. The depth is usually blue. And then I'm gonna dip slightly into Y1 to get rid of that violet that's there. Demi is so hard to see on camera. It's more of an in-person thing. But you can see I have completely neutralized that unwanted pigment. I did one brow off camera. You know, I love the Brow Trio by Trio Beauty. It's a stencil kit. I don't have a lot of brows. This is the pomade. I'm just stamping it on. I'm using the stencil to give me the best shape. Voila, you have a brow. One reason I like to use the brow wax first is because I like to give it time to kind of set and dry before I go in and use this. I'm gonna let this kind of dry before I go in and draw my little brow hairs on that just make it look a little bit more realistic. I know it's not gonna look 100% real because it's a fake brow, and that's okay. But never skip your brows. All right, let's actually put some makeup on. What brushes do I wanna use? Let's go to the Detail. The Detail has been one of my favorites. It's the square, looks like a broom. I always tell people it looks like a little broom. We tap and sweep with this one. So I'm just gonna wipe off any excess extra product, and we're just gonna get in and start highlighting and contouring. I'm gonna work out of this palette today. I may have to pull from another one just because I kind of have things everywhere, but I'm gonna start with my contour. Contour, whether you wanna use contour or you wanna use a bronzer, create that dimension. Like, you wanna create dimension in your makeup because you don't want your face to appear to be like flat and just beige and plain. And it's easier to create your dimension as you go instead of like putting one solid color all over and then going back in and adding dimension. So I'm gonna chisel out a little on the cheekbones, give a little bit of a shadow up here at the hairline. I do like this brush. I feel like I can move quick with this brush because I can cover some territory, but I like it because it's got the flat angles. And I feel like it just works really good. What's left over and just kind of chisel that jawline out. It makes my jaw a little bit more defined. I'm gonna take it and just create a little bit of nose contour. Remember, if you're contouring your nose, you wanna keep your lines pretty narrow. If you put them out here on the sides of your nose, you're going to extend the look and the width of your nose. What's left, we'll just go up under the lip. I'm just gonna wipe off. This is a little paper towel right into my darkest shade where I need a little bit of extra coverage. I'm not gonna blend, I'm just gonna apply everything. So these shades are custom to my skin tone. So if you would like a palette with shades custom to your skin tones, that's where I come in and can help you. All right, so the areas that I need my darkest shade are kind of like right here where I've got larger pores, I've got redness around my nose, a little bit of broken capillaries underneath my nose here. Usually my chin holds a lot of redness. I do have some smile lines right here, so I go a little bit darker there because if I go too light, it will enhance that. Let's see, let's go in a little bit of a lighter shade, which kind of matches my skin tone. And we're just gonna put everywhere else, lightly under the eye. We don't need as much product under there as we think we do. Remember, with creams, a little goes a long way. So I'm kind of just filling in the areas everywhere else with this shade. Let's do my brightening shade. I'm gonna use the small end, pop a little on the inner corner of the eye, a little outside the eye, which we'll probably touch that up after we do eyeshadow as well. Anywhere you wanna add brightness is where you're gonna put your lightest shade. But if you have fine lines and wrinkles, remember, if you put something too bright over them, it will enhance them. So sometimes under your eye, we don't necessarily need to go bright. It's just maybe diminishing that dark color will actually make your under eye look brighter. I like to come down the center of my nose. I gotta get right here, I can see. All right, I'm gonna let this sit, warm up with my skin. I'm gonna draw my little brow strokes. All right, now that that's done, I'm just gonna take a little spoolie and just kind of blend that together. I had somebody comment on one of my videos and they were just so offended that I was drawing on fake brows and said that they looked so fake. And I was like, that's because they are. All right, I need to fill in that little spot right there. So I'm just gonna take this little flick pen. It's not a flick pen, it's a brow pen from the Trio Beauty Company. It looks like a little liquid eyeliner. You just flick little hairs. Okay. Let's blend this. So I'm gonna take the small end of this brush and very lightly, this is where people go in and they remove their makeup. They don't mean to, but they just go in with a heavy hand, and you don't really need a heavy hand when you're blending, okay? So I'm just kind of softening that light color underneath my eye, being very delicate because the skin under our eye is very delicate. Go in here. All right, I'm gonna flip over because I'm gonna cover a little bit more territory. I'm gonna tap and sweep. So like tap, sweep, tap, sweep, tap and sweep. All right, so I leave my dark colors for last, and I'm just gonna tap and sweep up where those meet, where I say those, where the highlight and the contour color actually meet. I'm softening that line. I do not like this lighting, but you know what? It's okay. We're just gonna keep going. I'm not used to filming in here. I used to film in here all the time, and then I changed up some things with lighting, and I prefer to film in front of my dining room window. But we're gonna go with it. All right, something that I like to do is go in and just take a damp, this is our Perfector sponge, which is like a beauty blender. And once I've kind of got my foundation, which my foundation makes up my highlight and contour colors, I like to go in and just kind of like pounce this over my face, and it picks up any excess product so I don't have too much product on my skin. This is also really good to use under the eye. So there's no wrong way to do this. Like, you will find your little, I guess your little ways of doing this the more you use this makeup. I just like to apply darkest to lightest and blend lightest to darkest. Sometimes I go in and apply my bronzer and blend it when I'm blending everything else, and then sometimes I don't. I just like to change it up. So this is bronzer. I'm just gonna add a little bit of warmth. I love a bronzer. If you have not tried a cream bronzer or added cream bronzer to, I hear my mouth. If you've not added cream bronzer to your makeup routine, you need to. It is amazing, absolutely amazing. Sometimes if you feel like you're just missing something, bronzer is the key. Always, always tie this into this. Never match your makeup to your neck, ever. First of all, this never gets sun. We carry redness here. We're always gonna be a little bit darker. We have age spots. So always tie your makeup into your neck and chest. Never match your makeup. I'll have people tell me all the time, they're like, my makeup doesn't match your neck, or my makeup doesn't match my neck. It's not supposed to. It's supposed to be what's for your face, and then you tie in your face to your neck and chest. A little bit of blush. I'm not a huge blush person. I'm more of a bronzer girl, but I do like to wear some blush, just to give a little flush on the cheeks. Before I go any further, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna set this. I'm a powder girl, I live in the South, there's humidity, so it does affect your makeup. I'm also not a huge fan of setting sprays, but if you're a setting spray person, set your makeup. Cream makeup needs to be set. I've been a fan of the IT Cosmetic Bye Bye Pores. There's another setting powder that I'm gonna try, but I'm just gonna use all this first. And I'm just gonna take that same little sponge, the Perfector sponge, tap it in my powder, and press it into my skin. This is not a heavy enough powder to take away that dewy finish of the makeup. It's just gonna set it and basically hold it in place. All right, illuminator. We have creams, we have powders. My go-to is Starlet. These are my powders. And I just lightly, like I love Starlet. It gives just a little bit of an iridescent look, like an extra glow. Not sure if the light's picking that up. You can see that? I can see it right there. Okay, let's do some eyeshadow. All right, I'm gonna take my Arabian Night, which is a cream shadow, run it under the eye. I like a little definition under there. I'm gonna soften that. Using this cream shadow because it gives me the definition under my eye, but it's not as harsh as a bold eyeliner. I can't help it. Grew up in the 90s and we loved our black eyeliner. I have eyeshadows all over the place here. All right, let's take, so we did the demi at the beginning and that kind of corrected my unwanted pigment. So now I'm just gonna use a transition shade. This is going to make things easier to blend. It's not giving a ton of coverage. It's just kind of setting the base for my eyeshadow, okay? Never start with your darkest. I mean, you can if you want to, but it's kind of like makes things a little bit harder to blend if you start with something dark. If you start something lighter or medium toned, medium shade, whatever I'm looking for, it just actually, this one's called the transition shade. It helps to transition blending the colors and it helps out with blending. All right, I'm just gonna use what's right here. Love this brush. It's kind of a combination of the smudge and the eyeshadow brush. Has a dense end, kind of like the smudge, but it also has a fluffy like the eyeshadow brush. Blur brush, I'm pretty sure. All right, so I'm gonna take my darker color, and because you can see I have this deep set and this hood, like my eyes, so like when my eyes are open, if I put eyeshadow other than just the inner corner, you're not gonna see it. So I'm gonna go above that crease. I'm not gonna start out here, but I'm gonna start kind of where like the outside color and the white of my eye hits and tap that on. I'm gonna blend that out to move that product around, come in, add some depth to the outside. So I have depth and I kind of lift that eye a little bit. I'm gonna do the same thing over here. I'm gonna take my shimmer, my finger, apply it to the lid. I'm gonna take my lightest shimmer, take the pinky of the side of the face that I'm working on, pinky of this eye, go in that inner corner, pinky, this side. All right, just because I'm extra, not really, I'm gonna take a little bit of Cupcake and kind of clean up here on this brow bone. All right, we've got to do eyeliner and mascara. Over here, I'm gonna tight line with a waterproof soft crayon liner. I blink it underneath that lash line on the waterline. This gives your eye, or this gives your lash line a more bold effect. It does take practice. So the thicker you wear your eyeliner on top, the shorter your lashes appear, okay? So you're not doing yourself justice if you already have short eyelashes if you're wearing a thick eyeliner on top. So go underneath with a waterproof, and then if you want to lift your eye, you can do a winged effect. The key to this is never come out here and then up, okay? Never line the top starting here and go up. You're gonna start from your bottom lash line and go up and out, and then you're gonna come in and connect and then dirty the lash line. So many times people come and they go straight out. Well, in reality, you're just gonna have a straight out line, or you're gonna make your eyes droop. We want to make our eyes lift because we want to lift everything. So this is the easiest way for me to not have like a droopy eye. Okay, so I always go back in with a brush once I've done my eyeliner because I do have to pull a little bit, and I kind of just clean up. This gets any fallout, any eyeshadow, and just kind of smooths that back out. I am gonna hop off and do my mascara because it's mascara. So I start with the Gwen Stefani Can't Stop Staring and then top it with my favorite $5 mascara by Essence Lash Princess Black and Purple Tube Sculpted Volume. Okay, I love a bold lash. I'm just gonna put it out there. All right, so let's look at this coverage. Like, I have dimension, but it's seamless from where one color blends to the next. I do have hair on me. I do think I wanna add a little bit more blush, which is the joy of this makeup. It's buildable, which I'm using pretty much a subtle, kind of a nude color. But I wanna add just a little bit more, like right here. That's better. Just a little bit more color. All right, let's do something to the lip. Because I have such a thin upper lip, I kind of do the reverse and I do a lighter color right above instead of contour, and it actually makes me look like my lip is flipped and a little bit more fuller. So I'm gonna use a demi color and a small brush, and I'm gonna go right above where the lip and my skin meets, and I'm highlighting that area to make it look a little bit more bigger. All right, I'm gonna take a contour and draw this shadow underneath here to make this bottom lip look a little more pouty. Sometimes when I do the contour on my top lip, because I have such a small upper lip, it makes it look just dirty. So I found out that if I highlight it and then contour right there, it makes that shadow of my Cupid's bow look a little more sunk in. And I'm gonna blend it out. When I go in and line it, it makes my lip look a little bit fuller. You can see just adding that makes my top lip look a little bit fuller. All right, so all products that I used today mainly worked out of this palette, pulled a little bit more. I have everything in a link, even my mascaras, they're all linked. If you're interested in getting a color match, if you're interested in learning how to use this makeup, reach out to me. I would love to help you. I can get you color match to get you your own custom palette that works just for you.